Hey guys, welcome back to the series of Building a SaaS and happy Valentine's Day. Actually close the video and go out with your girl or something. I should probably do the same thing, but here I am. So let's make this as quick as possible. I have my notes of what I'm going to do in this video, which is improving the feature of indexing sites, upgrading to SaasRock latest release, which is from 2 days ago, set up the pricing plans, set up the transactional email templates in Postmark, and for the marketing pages or the marketing site, we're going to define if we are going to use multiple languages or just English, the brand color and icons, the landing page copy, contact and newsletter forms, how to create a blog post, how to create a knowledge base article, and launch. I'm going to use Fly as my hosting provider and Supabase as my database provider. And before we start improving the feature, I want to say that I didn't tell you correctly on the last video how you can clone a SaasRock repository and set up your project so you can get updates. I said you should delete the Git folder, and that deletes the whole history of the SaasRock changes. So don't do that. You should start with this. After cloning, you should have something like this, pointing at the origin at a SaasRock repository. So you should do git remove origin and set your new git remote. What was it like? Git remote add origin and your repo. And now you can change to the branch main, and now you can commit the changes and deploy as is. Let me see. Currently, the SaasRock edition that I'm using is 0.9.4. So we want to make sure we're using the latest one. And I have an article for that at SaasRock articles or docs. Releases, docs, articles, releases, and here it tells you how to set up the upstream. In this case, I'm using the SaasRock Enterprise Edition, so I'm going to copy paste this, and this is done. So I'm going to refresh this project. So now I have a project that listens to SaasRock versions. So we're going to test that. Well, but I should commit this first. Yeah, before upgrading, I'm sorry about that. That happens when you have unedited videos. I will make more mistakes. Before I upgrade to SaasRock 0.9.5, I will fix some of the issues that I left on the previous video. Let me show you what I mean. Currently, let me start the server. Currently, when the user or me uploads a domain and the credentials, it correctly submits the pages to Google. But the pages that are stored are only the ones that were requested. And we want to store every page URL with a status. And another thing that is an error is that the service account credentials are stored in the repository. So we should fix that as well. We should delete the file after being used. So before committing the first feature, which we're going to call feature index sites, we're going to fix those two things. If I go to the pages here, this is what I mean. Well, it's an error because of some tests that I did before, but we should have the whole SaasRock sitemap. And it's around 200 pages, not just 13 or 16. So we are going to test with one file that these are no longer created. I'm going to undo this file. And for that, I think I should start with the indexing server file and see where I'm storing the file here. I should delete it after being used here. File system on link, and I'm going to put it inside a try catch block because I don't want the process to stop. For whatever reason, it couldn't delete the file. And the other thing that I will fix is that I'm not going to return these pages with status because these are only the pages that were indexed. I'm going to return the pages pair status, and this is a group by status and all the pages. So on the site's new file, I'm going to switch to that object, and this is no longer an array. It's object entries of this type with the status and the URLs. Yeah, so we're going to iterate for every status. We have the URL and we have the status correctly. Now we should have the two fixes done. Now we can test it. But before I test it, I'm going to show you how to create a Google search credential. So first you go to cloud, console, cloudgoogle.com, and of course you need to create your project for your site. And here we have this section, APIs and services, and you need to enable two of them. The first one is web search API, web search indexing API, and the other one is called Google Search API or Google Search Console API. So I have these both enabled, but you need to create a credential, which is actually a service account. And I'm going to call this SaasRock service account, and I'm going to grant, I think this is optional, but I'm going to put it as owner because I'm not sure if I will get errors in the future. And I'm going to click on the service account and go to keys and add key as JSON. And now I can use this file. Well, but first you need to go to Google Console's Google Search Console. And of course this is for the users as well. So I can screenshot what I'm doing and put it on a knowledge base article, for example, to how to create credentials that can index your sites in this project. And now we can add the user here that we created, and I'm going to put it as owner, but I think it's fine with full. User not found, so I'm not pasting it correctly, or maybe it takes a while for Google to add that user to their systems. Let's try again. Yeah, now we can test this site, SaasRock, with this credential, and we should have both fixes. We shouldn't have the credentials not deleted here locally, and we should have the page URLs stored by status, not just the requested pages. So let's wait for this to finish. This does it in batches, and once completed, it creates the site pages. Yeah, so let's wait. Okay, so now we have this status submitted and indexed. And I think this is status from Google. Let's see, let's verify that. Get emoji for status, and the status is retrieved by this result, and this result is from status pair URL exit. Yes, it is from the Google Search API. So this is fine. And we have this crawled, currently not indexed. Well, we can fix that to be crawled, currently not indexed, but now is indexed, something like that, because these were processed. If I search for this one, the blog, where is it? Indexing already requested. Yeah. So now it's working. We can add these changes. and commit. And now we can move on to the next thing, which is upgrading the SaasRock instance. So for this, I'm going to just add the upstream. Currently, if I do git remote -b, I only have my origin, but I'm going to point to the enterprise edition as the upstream. So now we have this upstream. Now you need to set the URL to no push, and then git pull upstream main. And you should, you may have some conflicting changes that you can fix quickly. Like for example, we made this change for the sites, but it's now actually fixed on the new version. So I no longer have to do this for only sites. It now has this path. So incoming change is okay, and now add it. And for the Prisma, we have these changes that I added feedback and credits to the user model. So I'm going to accept both changes, and the same for the tenant model, both changes. And now 257 files were improved or added or modified or deleted on the new release. So I'm going to commit all these changes and go to the next thing, which is set up the pricing. So for this, you have two options. Option one is going to admin settings pricing and create the plans one by one. Option two is modify the default plans at plans server. Now I have 3 plans set up by default: basic, starter, and enterprise. And this is a flat rate model, so it's monthly or yearly. You can change this to have maybe one-time payment for lifetime deals and 2 monthly and yearly plans. But I'm going to make it simple and just have a free version and keep this starter and enterprise, or maybe change the titles. So let's start with that. On the plan server, I can change the title of these generate common plans, where I have number 1, number 2, and number 3. And I use translation file keys. But, well, this means you can use in other languages different plan names. But I'm going to make this simple and call this free and remove the description. And for plan number 2, call this basic. And for plan number 3, pro. So if I save this and go back to my pricing page, I should have these free, basic, and pro plans without descriptions. Now, I support 2 currencies by default, USD and Mexican pesos. So let's say you want to support euros. You go to the currencies file and put this disable to false. And if you refresh, you should have this, well, no, before you need to go to your prices. Let's search for 9. Here on the flat rate prices for these common plans, on the monthly and yearly prices or subscription billing periods, I have these prices. So let's add, copy paste this for euros. And this should be maybe 8 and 80. And here, well, this is free. So let's copy this and put it on the basic plan and paste it as well on the pro plan, but increase it like maybe 3 times. Of course, this is not the best way. I just want to create some plans quickly. And all these plans should be 0 because it's the free plan. Now that I have euro prices, I should have euro prices here. And as you can see here at the top, the parameter C is set. So if I refresh the page, the currency is there still. So now with the limits, I have limits as well. For example, users, API calls, and support. Now, I don't want to set the API calls. I can, and maybe the users is not needed. So maybe on the generate common plans, I will remove this user feature and remove the API calls one. And instead of the API calls, I can have maybe 5 sites, and the feature name will be, well, I can hard code it like this, sites, and I can use that later to limit my users, or I can go to the default features and actually add it here, like sites and crawls, or index requests, sites and index requests. So maybe decide one of them and not both. Yeah, maybe not sites, index requests. How many? Maybe what is it? 1,000 index requests, or maybe 10,000 for free per month. So it's actually a freemium product, and the default name for this is index requests, and the value is 10,000. So now the order of this feature is number 1, accumulate false. This means that if they subscribe to multiple plans, this value will not accumulate. So now we can, we're gonna set the priority support there and put the features of, well, this was for the 3rd plan. So I'm just going to copy this on the basic plan, the 2nd one, and on the 1st one, and change one by one. Because this was for the free plan, this is already set. Now we should go to the basic one and increase, maybe I don't know, 50,000 requests. Maybe this is too much, don't you think? Monthly, 10,000. Maybe I exaggerated. Yeah, 1,000 is right for the free plan, and 10,000 for the basic plan, and maybe 50,000 for the pro plan. Now, if I change this and if I save this, I should have it reflected on the pricing page. So 1,000 index requests per month. Maybe I should add it here as well, instead of having like this per month. And we can just say requests or indexes. No, requests per month is okay. So the pricing is now set. We should create the Stripe account for this product and create the plans and test the feature. And actually, well, we could have used credits. Like instead of having our custom index request feature, there's on 0.9.5 I added a built-in credit management that I should have used for this example. So I'm going to do that before creating a Stripe account. Instead of saying default features, index requests, I'm gonna change this to credits, and I'm going to change, instead of requests per month, I'm going to change to credits. Now, to enable credits, you need to go to credit type, and here uncomment the first one and say index request, and the credit name is index request, index a single page, and the credit amount is 1. So once I save this, I now have this clickable feature that explains to the user what is a credit. By sending a message using your, well, this was for my other product, so I apologize for that. By sending index your pages to Google. So now, what is a credit? If I refresh, index your pages to Google. Now, every index request, it's 1 credit. We can increase this to 2 credits or 5, or maybe one site is 10 credits or 100 credits. So now we can move on to creating a Stripe account. So you go to dashboard.stripe.com and go to the bottom, new account, account name. This is Indexer. And I'm going to open the environment variables for my site and go to Stripe and put here the API key, which is this one, the secret key, and stop the server, save the file, and restart. So now that I'm happy with this pricing, I can go to admin pricing, settings pricing, and wait for the server to start, of course. And when I click here to generate plans, my plans will be created on Stripe. Let me show you. Free, basic, pro, yeah. Has quantity, does not exist in the current database. Okay, this is good that it happened, because since I upgraded SaasRock, there may be new models that you need to update. So npx prisma db push. You need to be very careful with this, because if there is a breaking change on your database, Prisma will warn you that it's not compatible, and it will ask you if you want to override the existing database. And if you're doing that, you will delete all your entities, all your accounts, all your users. And even worse, if you do that in production, you need to be very, very, very careful. And put no and fix whatever conflict there is, and now push the change. So I'm going to do this again. Click here to generate plans, and there may be more than 3 products on my dashboard because of the error. Okay. It's still doing it because there are too many prices. Okay, it's now done. This is what I told you. There is the free plan, and the first one that tried to create, but it got the database error. So I can delete this because there are no currently subscriptions. So we have free, basic, and pro. Now we can test this. Open an incognito tab and go to pricing, and now we can subscribe to, let's say, the free plan, and we're gonna set the email to test1, and the password is test, or password for test1, and now it's working. We have access to the site's indexing, and we have these settings. We have this credits page in the tenant account. We have this subscription page where we have the current one, the current period, my limits, 1,000 credits, and priority support is not included. So we can start testing this. Every index accumulates 1 credit, so let's test it. let's go to sites, new site, and let's set the credential. Well, instead of doing this, let's set the remaining credits maybe, or whenever we create these pages, we need to check. Well, we got an object for that on the indexing server start that we can use, which is pages with status. Or we can create another one, const indexed pages, status indexed, no, index pages string, and if it's index already requested previously, here we will add the index pages when we have this index requested successfully, which is the request indexing function. Now we return this index pages and use this new array to create credits. So for each one of them, for every index page, we can call the await credit server dot what was it called, create, and this receives the current tenant ID, the current user ID, the type, which is credit, or was it, yeah, index request, and the amount. Well, the amount is already set here. So what is missing? We need to get the tenant ID. Well, the tenant ID is already here, so this can't be null. So if tenant ID is set, we're going to do this. Otherwise, it's an admin account. What is missing? Create, tenant ID, user ID, type, object ID. Okay, so the object ID, we can use the, well, we can put this based on the site page created, but it's not very useful. So we're just gonna put the URL. So let's try again. And we can now test this. Upload, downloads, which one is the last one? I think it's this one. So let's see. Yeah, it's working. So now we should have on the settings side, on the credit system page, for every request page, we should have here the credits. So let's wait for it to complete. And we now have to think where to put the limit restriction of, before requesting more indexing. Let's refresh. So it didn't do it correctly. Maybe because currently not indexed. Maybe because we didn't reach this part on the indexing server here. Indexing requested successfully. Yeah, because these ones were already requested. So I'm not sure if this should use credits. Maybe it should, because if the user is doing it over and over again, yeah, let's do it. But you can change this, of course. This is arbitrarily my opinion. And since I'm doing this, I can improve the feature more to put a button here to call this indexing server start again. So on the site ID, not the edit one, I will have an action that I can put copy paste the action of the creation of the site, but instead of creating one, I'm just going to use an existing one, and the credentials, I don't need them from here, nor here. I do need to call this, and I need to get the domain. So the current item is get site, and if of course the item does not exist, I will return. So, and the action name shouldn't be called, let's import this, create. It should be called sync, maybe sync, yeah, sync, or request again. And we're going to use the domain, item domain, and the credentials, item, where is the item? Oh, we're using item again. So this should be site, and the site domain, site credential. But this is a string, and we need an object called well, we can use the site domain, and the name is site domain, and the file is credentials, and the type is application JSON. Yeah. Now instead of creating site, we should maybe delete the pages. Yeah, let's do it. Database site page delete many, where site ID, and do this again. And the site ID is this one, site ID, and again the credit server. So maybe this credit server should be inside the indexing server file, but I'm going to leave this like this. And we're not going to redirect. We're going to say to the user, successfully requested, indexed. Okay, so instead of sync, we're going to call the action reindex. And we need an action somewhere here instead of edit button, well, maybe a button primary, to say reindex, and on click we're gonna create a form object, new form, data, form set, action reindex, and then submit the form with method post. And actually this could be a loading button because it will show the spinner, or on the button primary is there's a property called is loading, which you can use as well. You submit, and I think that's it. Now if we save this, we should have the sync or the reindex button here, but it's too large compared to the edit one, and I don't like that, so maybe I should put this pencil a little bit bigger. And now we can test the reindex, and it should be okay. This sometimes happens when you create a new action on a route. Bit doesn't seem to actually listen to that change, but this doesn't always happen. This happens from time to time, or maybe in your laptop works. And while it's loading here, I will have another user experience improve. Use typed action data, and I'm going to say, I'm going to use an user effect listening to that change, to the action result, and instead of alerting the user with the ugly dialog, we can use toast success and toast error, and of course import this React hot toast. And now we can try again. Well, the action is reindex, yeah. So now it's doing it again, and it will delete all the pages, it will track the credits, and it will reindex them to Google if there's a new page And we can have more improvements here, like grouping by status or having a search URL, but that's for your future. I'm just showing how to build SaaS applications in the SaasRock framework. So after this is done, I'm going to go to creating the email templates in Postmark. So let's see, it's currently on batch 1 of 4. And we can before re-index them or creating a new site, we can check the feature of type credits to see if the user still has credits left, or anytime the the Google index will be created, check the credits limit to be in real time. Okay, so it did it again, and now it's just the same thing. We can add more things to this table as well, like created ad or updated ad, or change the color of the status. But like I said, this is not the point of this video. Now, so we can check this site request indexing on the saved site. Well, actually, this is not very useful. Updating a site should not be doable, right? I mean, why would you do that instead of creating a new site? Like, for example, if I save a wrong site, site update because it depends on more records. Yeah, I need to fix that, but this is my point. Maybe there's no point of editing. So maybe this page is useless because I can delete the site here. Yeah, let's skip that part and go straight to the email sections, because we now covered currencies, billing periods, we created the pricing plans, created a Stripe account, and set the feature limits with credits. And just to show you what the credits were used, here we have this credits page, and these were the index requests. And you can change, you can have like a at the top how many credits are left, but the user can go to the subscription, and here he can see how many credits have been used and what's the limit. So yeah, let's go to the next one, which is creating Postmark server tokens. So we can, how do we create? Yeah, we're gonna be creating another user, but before that we need to go to Postmark and login and go to the server, go create a server called Indexer as blue maybe, and we're gonna grab the API token and we're gonna put it on the environment Postmark. And the support email, well, I'm going to put my email here, and the Postmark email will be Indexer. And since I'm not going to be creating a domain right now, I will use SaasRock domain, Indexer SaaSRock. So I need to first restart my server so this token is correctly set, and go create this signature on sender signatures. I need to search for SaasRock. Where is it? Here. Add signature from Indexer, and reply to, well, it can be to my SaasRock email. Now, on the servers, we don't have any template, so we need to go to the admin section on transactional emails, and we're gonna test some emails. So I'm going to open my Gmail and go to transactional emails, and we can create them all. You can see there are a few templates like welcome, password reset, user invitation, comment notification, email verification, account setup, So let's create them all. And now we can refresh Postmark and we have these templates. So whenever you have, like, for example, a password reset, you will have now an email sent. Let's test it by creating another user. And actually, let me show you. Users shouldn't be able to register without subscribing, at least to the free plan. So that's a setting you can change on authentication and set allow sign up without subscription, uncheck it and save it. So now, going back to the register path, if I refresh, I am redirected to the pricing section, and if I click sign up, it's actually this page. So let's create a basic plan now, and this will be test number 2. I should have tested with Mexican or euros currency just to show you, but anyway, now we should have a new email, well, 2 emails. Set up your account for Google Page Indexer, which redirects to this page. Checkout already processed because I already clicked on create account. And after that, we got this welcome to Google Page Indexer, which is the application name. And here we have this little error, welcome and no name. We can either go to the welcome template and edit that and remove the name here, or go to this setting and put require name. So either of those is fine. So now, going to the marketing pages. Here we have the local selector supporting multiple languages. You can support more, and the translations files are actually pretty easy to use. Let me show you with the landing page. I'm going to go to the translation of English and go look for the hero section and look for headline 1, and this is simplest way to index your pages to Google. And the headline 2 is the description, so in less than 1 minute. And yeah, we can do the same thing for Spanish. Look for hero, la manera más fácil de indexar tus sitios en Google. And just put indexar tus sitios con un solo clic. Yeah, so if I refresh, I should now have this headline in English and this headline in Spanish. But I'm just going to support English to make this simpler. So I should go to my I-18 next and go to supported languages object and just put here, remove Spanish. I'm just going to comment instead in case I want to come back, enable it. So now if I refresh, I should also delete, remove this. And this is a setting in a page block called default header. And the default header contains like your nav bar, like pricing, blog, more. So here with language switcher, I'm going to set false because now we currently support English. And now for dark mode, I won't be supporting dark mode, so I will remove this theme switcher as well. And yeah, we can start working on the landing page from here. So the brand. Now, since I use SaasRock Enterprise Edition to start this site, the theme as default is violet. So I can go to Tailwind, config, and change the theme somewhere inside the colors here. Instead of violet, I'm going to use blue. And this will change in the future, of course. I will be implementing chat-cn because it's a highly popular and highly requested addition to SaasRock. So you can have themes like this in the future in SaasRock. But currently you're tied to the initial way of doing things in SaasRock, which is like this. Now, we wanted to change the color, I mean the icon and the logo. So I use Canva for that. I create all my logos and icons here. So I have this way of creating them. As you can see, I have a light mode icon and a dark mode, and then I have an icon with a background with a circle, a white circle in the background. So I'm just going to duplicate this and this and this and move it all the way to the top like this. And now change this to maybe IX, or maybe just the IX, I don't know, like indexing. Yeah, I know this is not the best icon in the world, but this is my way of building icons. Like you can see with SaasRock for Christmas, with DataLang, with remix blocks, Delega, and so on. So the color I'm going to be using is blue, and this should be like this. Now I'm gonna copy this and paste it in dark mode. So this should be white. And now for the icon, I'm gonna remove this and paste it here and make it a little bit smaller. Well, it's okay like that. And download them as PNG with transparent background. Well, I should make this bigger like this. And this icon is the one that I use in Twitter, in the Favicon, and other places where I need to share without the transparent background. So we have the icons. Now let's do the logo. The same thing, duplicate this and put here Indexer, maybe in bold. No, too bold. Maybe just the X and the Y. Indexer Pro. Yeah, it looks weird. Yeah, like I told you, this is not the best way of doing icons. I can just ask GPT to give me one, but I don't want to spend time on that right now. So this size is correct, and now I will delete this and change this to white. Whoops, to white. And now I should have my logos with transparent background, only page 1 and 2. And now let's test them. Well, you need to rename them like this. These are the logos. So this is logo dark, and this is logo light. Now for the icons, the same thing. Logo light, icon light, and this is just the well, this is an error. It shouldn't have the background like this, so I'm going to fix that and remove this background and just download this this one with transparent background. No, this one, the page number 2, current page. And this is not the correct one. I'm gonna use this one. And now this is called icon dark. And now this is just called icon. Now I will copy these files and go to this folder, which is assets images, reveal in Finder, paste them here, and refresh the page to see how it looks. Indexer, yeah. and if we shrink the page, we have the icon. Now, for the favicon, I use this site, favicon-generator.org. I upload the icon, this one. I click create favicon, and I don't need to do this because I already did it on the SaasRock code base. I need to download the generated favicon and open this and copy all these files and put it inside wherever the favicon is. So reveal in Finder, paste, apply to all, and refresh. And we should have the new favicon set here. And if it doesn't refresh for you, you can open a new tab because sometimes the cache gives issues. So this is my way of building colors, logos, favicons, and we're not going to use dark mode on this site. Now, for the landing page, we can add here like the main feature of the product. And one way of doing that is overriding the page blocks or override just the hero section block. Let me show you the second way. So here you have a default landing page and a default blog post page and a default pricing page that you can override. But for the landing page, as you can see, I have this banner that I don't want. So I'm going to comment this block. Now for the header, I have this header where I have pricing, blog, contact, and newsletter. So I can leave it like that. And the hero is of type simple, but I can do it like style right image. And this is another block. So I should set an image for this and it will appear like this. And this is not a bad way of showcasing this application, but I'm going to go with the simple one and actually remove all the following blocks, which are logo clouds, features, gallery, community section, testimonials, newsletter section, and FAQ. I'm going to comment everything because I want to focus right now, except for the footer. I'm gonna keep the footer. And for the footer, you also have a default footer that you can, actually the footer includes the theme switcher, so this should be false as well. Default footer. And the socials, I may need to remove the socials because this point to SaasRock. So now we have a landing page with this single page block. Well, the heading or the header, the hero, and the footer. If you don't like this, you can go to index, which is the landing page, and remove everything by deleting this page blocks component and do it like this, custom landing page. Let me show you. So you don't have nothing in the landing page. This is one way of overriding things, but you can use things like, for example, the header block and the footer block, and here you have custom landing page, and this way you reuse other blocks while building custom pages. So yeah, I'm gonna use page blocks and just go to the hero simple variant or hero variant simple, and here I can add a way to, instead of having these CTAs, the CTAs are somewhere here. Yeah, instead of having the CTAs here, I may have the site form that we created on last video. And this is an input of the domain and the credentials. So we need the same site new, the same action that is on sites new, which is this one, create. So on the index page, which is the landing page, we should have an action. Well, we already have an action, so we are only going to copy this portion right here. If the action is create, we will do it this way, and the credit we're going to import all missing imports. And what else? We need the tenant ID. This will be, well, let's do it this way, just for now. It will be null, so no tenant will be tracked, and we should get the user info from get user info, and passing the request object, and we won't track the credits. We can have another model or limit, like for example, existing site await db site find many, where the domain is this one and the tenant is null. So if there's more than one, it means this was already created on the landing page and not on the application page. I'm going to say to the user, create an account, or this domain already processed. This domain is already processed. Please create an account. So the first time we will be able to index the page, but we should have a way to show the user the retrieved indexed pages. So instead of returning redirect, we should return site indexed, and we can also return index pages. Well, instead of the object, I'm just going to put it like this to not spend too much time thinking about the design for this. So index pages, replace the domain with nothing. Yeah, I think this looks good, but instead of just the names, I'm going to put the total count. And put it here. I apologize for the slowness of my computer. Now this should work. Let's modify the design a bit so it's a little bit bigger. On the hero section here shouldn't be max width of what this is. What's the max width for this? Maybe we should just call the class name width full. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. So here we can put max width of medium. And we can remove this top text and bottom text on the default landing page. The hero section, here on these two, we can comment them. So we only have the heading, the description, and the form. So now we can call this new indexing create, or instead of create we can say index. So it's indexing correctly. So while it's doing this, well, it's almost complete, so let's wait for it to finish. Okay, so we have this site, SaasRock created, 11 pages indexed. Of course, this is ugly, but this was my point, that I don't want to spend time right now on building a table, because I can put a table below the form when the action is retrieved. I want to test what happens if I create it again. Whoops, it's doing it. So maybe I didn't do it right the first time. On the action, we created the site with the tenant ID null and with this domain. And we created this site with null, yeah. So if it's more than one already processed, I'm not sure why it didn't do it. So I'm going to go to my Postgres local host. And what's the database name for this? Oh, it's in SQLite. Well, I can open a Prisma Studio, npx Prisma. Well, but I don't want to do that right now. Let me think. Let me debug this the old way. Find many existing sites. Let's see. We're going to see the existing sites for this domain. And if the error is create, are we not creating the site? Yes, we are. Create site with this tenant ID and with this domain. Yeah. I don't know why it's not doing it. SaasRock. Try again. File domain invalid what? Valid. Yeah, it's trying to do it again, so it's not calling this action actually. What is it doing? Okay. Oh, here I have my indexing call before I actually check if the existing site is there. Duh. Shame on me. Okay, so one last try. Yeah, this domain is already processed. Please create an account to manage it. Yeah, so this is the limit for my anonymous users. Now, what else? We have the landing page ready. Well, we can add, of course, features and more blocks. Add main features to the landing page. Yeah, so now the contact page. You can either use a form spree ID, like this one. I will create a new form called Indexer on the project SaasRock and emails to my email, and it gives me this ID. So on my environment, I could set here on the form integrations contact form spree, but I think it's the whole URL. But I think I can show you that if, as an admin, you create an entity called, and the same applies to the newsletter, because you can set the ConvertKit API key, or you can go to entities and go to templates and click manual, default, CRM. So it creates the company, opportunity, contact, and submission entities. So once you create this, you will have this functional contact form that if the user submits something like this, find many, skip undefined, mode argument. Oops, I think I have an error deployed on the CRM argument mode. So I'm not sure. I think I'm passing a value to a non-existing property on the entity builder. So let me show you the other way. Save this integration contact form spree. Of course, this will be fixed on the next release, and do the same thing for the newsletter, but we will try that in a bit. Once this is ready, I'm going to open my email because I will receive a form submission. And here, now, if I click send, maybe this is required. Yeah, this is still loading. Why am I getting this error? Let me go to the contact page and search for sent. So if email or message is not set, yeah, this was still loading because of my Mac. It's too slow. So when you click send, okay, so this is happening again because maybe the integration is not correctly. Let me see. Argument mode is not set. Mode insensitive. Right. This is not an entity builder error. This is what happens when you use SQLite. The only thing that is not supported, and I forgot to remove, is mode insensitive is not supported on SQLite. So you either replace and remove that, or do this. Go to Prisma, go to Postgres. Change the provider to Postgres. Go to your environment variable, switch the database from this. I think my user is testing and my password is testing, and my host, local host, and port, I think it's the default, and the database we can create a new one called SaasRock Indexer. I'm going to try this by npx prisma db push. Yeah. And now we need to seed it. npx prisma, because we started from scratch. Now let's try again what I was intending to do, submitting a form. And as I said, you can either put your form spree form there, so you get that notification via email, or you can use the entity builder with the custom rows for contacts and submissions, and the same for newsletter. Again, this is still loading, so I don't have this button enabled. So let's try again. So now the form is submitted, and I should have this form spree from the Indexer application. Now let's try again and go to the newsletter. Newsletter is not configured. So for this, you can go to CRM services, is not configured. Contact form, no, newsletter is not configured. Settings, validate. So it's not finding what? Company, opportunity, and contact. But we have that. So maybe, let's see. Oh, but we started from scratch, of course. So we need to go to entities again, because the database is empty right now. Go to default CRM, create the entities, refresh, and now if I get a submission without using ConvertKit, I get this CRM submissions. Oh, but it's not. So I get the contact, but it's not a submission. It's a newsletter subscriber. So I have this newsletter tag, and this is the contact information, and it's a marketing subscriber. So yeah, now we're almost done. You can go to the blog section, because currently there's no articles, so you can create. I have this from locally on my cache or on the local storage, because I created this article for DataLang. So I'm going to reuse that, like, I don't know, index your pages in 1 minute to Google, in Google. And Lorem Ipsum, and I can use a cover image like this one. And the category is, I can create a category or leave it like that and set publish and reading time. Supabase URL is required. Okay, so since I'm creating this, it tries to store the image in your own storage. So I think for now, I'm gonna remove the Supabase URL is required. Okay, so maybe there may be another place. I think, yeah, actually, I'm not sure why it's asking me. Maybe it tries. Supabase URL is required. Supabase, what's the error? Supabase URL is required. Yeah, so let's go to blog new and see what's happening here. Blogs new action, and see, after I create a blog post. Well, let's see if the blog post is created. No. So it's here, create blog post, and there may be Supabase calls here. No, it's not here. Get category. Supabase here. No. So maybe it's something with the content. Well, we are about to create the Supabase project anyways. So let me do that. I'm gonna go to Supabase and create this project called Indexer. And the password will be generate a password, copy, and I'm gonna put it here somewhere. And now I'm gonna use East, because my fly deployments are always there. So while this is being created, I think I should be able to access the storage. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna copy this service role and put it here somewhere in the Supabase key, and this anon public key here, and the URL should be on the API here. So here's my URL, my key, and my anon key. Now I'm gonna restart the project, and thinking of what's next. I think that's it. I can create a knowledge base article, but we will see if there's anything missing. Okay, Lorem Ipsum, cover image, put it here, and reading time 2 minutes, published. Yeah, so now it's working, and if you go to the blog, you will have your first article, and this is SEO friendly, so you need to be careful on your title, description, and SEO image. And now if you want to create knowledge base articles, you can go to admin, knowledge base, create a new base, and call it help, and save it, activate it, go to categories, create a simple category like getting started, and this is also SEO friendly, so again you need to make sure to create the right titles, descriptions, and images. Now we can edit this sample article, save draft, settings, sample article number 1, and get the slug from the title, and save this, and finally publish it, and we can preview it here. Now our help desk or help center is here. Well, but I have this error, help/help. So we can update the help to be something like, so the base path, I think it was something like this, help center, and the base path is help. So if I refresh and help center, yeah, this is my knowledge base, and I can add links like I have in SaasRock. Like here, the help center is at /docs, and I can have these back to site documents, and you can see the feature articles, the categories, and if you click in a category, you will have the articles, and if you click on an article, you can have related things, articles, I mean, like it's the case for Supabase, where Supabase, well, Supabase, it's everywhere. On this article, I have related articles, so you can add them in your knowledge base as well. But I think we're done. So we covered the contact, newsletter, blog, knowledge base, and now, well, we created the Supabase project, so we can use the public database and seed it. So let's do it. We're gonna go again on the database settings and use the transaction mode connection string. Well, but I think that for seeding, I should use the session mode connection string. So the first one is for seeding, and the second one is for production. Okay, so let's comment this, and now let's comment the second one. So npx prisma db push, and go to my Supabase database tables. Currently none, so it's still running. Of course, I just hit enter, and then once completed, npx prisma db seed. And we're about to finish the course. It took 2 videos. I think this one is way longer than the first one. I think it's what, 2 hours almost. But you can build a SaaS in 2 hours with SaasRock. That's my point with this series, with these SaaS templates. Now we can seed it and refresh the Supabase database tables. Now we should have all the tables that SaasRock needs. And after seeding, if I refresh, we should have at least one admin user. Yeah, here it is, admin user 1. So now it's working. Well, it failed because of permission. Please make sure the database return permission create. Okay, so instead of using the AWS is pooler connection string, we can use the old way of seeding, which is using removing connection pooling, and do it this way. So for seeding, we will have this one, and for production, the one at the bottom. So this is the old way of seeding, so this should work. And actually the seed command skips whatever was already created, so there's no problem on running it multiple times. So the seed command has been executed. Finally, let's deploy to fly. The first thing that you need to do is change the fly.toml application name. This is called Indexer, and then you should follow the steps on the readme deploy fly. So the first one is set the primary region correctly wherever you want it to host, and this is the Virginia region. I'm fine with that. Next, create the application name, SaasRock Indexer, and then set the secrets like in fly example. So I'm just going to set the required ones. Application name is Indexer, and SaasRock dash server URL dash Indexer, and the domain name is the same, SaasRock Indexer. The database URL, I'm going to use this one that I told you, the one with transactional pooling. And the API access token, you can change this if you're going to use the API in some way. The session secret, the JWT secret, the crypto secret, the API URL. Let's set the Supabase API URL here, and the key. And what else? The anonymous key, my Stripe API key. Of course, I will need to set a live one, but I'm going to use this one, which is the test one. And support email, or maybe I can use hello SaasRock, and the Postmark server token that I already tested, the domain from the Postmark server, and now finally the application SaasRock Indexer. So I'm going to copy this, and of course I shouldn't deploy this to GitHub. I should duplicate this, create production one, and undo my changes. So this is not on the repository, and now I can paste this. Well, here it's asking me where should it be deployed in SaasRock apps. Okay, create it. So now, after I create my credentials, it will say secrets are staged for the first deployment. So now let's fly deploy. And this is the final step of this tutorial and this SaaS template. Of course, I will delete the Supabase project because I don't want fake submissions, and I will change the Stripe API. I will change the Postmark server token. So I won't blur this after ending the video. Now, on fly, we should have this SaasRock Indexer application that currently is being deployed. And after this is deployed, I highly suggest that you scale at least on a CPU 2x. Otherwise, you will get a slow instance, and you should get a bill like below $4. It's pretty cheap, unless you're using it pretty intense. I will prepare this command like SaasRock Indexer. So yeah, I'm going to pause and come back whenever this is deployed. Okay, so it's now deployed, and I already scaled it to a CPU of 2x, and you can see here CPU cores, 2 memory, 512. Now we can check if the application is successfully deployed by clicking here, Indexer. Okay, so it's deployed, but there seems to be an error. So on monitoring, you can see the error here. Okay, invalid Prisma feature flag. This seems to be a database connection error. So this database URL may not be the correct one. So what I'm going to do is copy this and just put here the database to update it. I can do it on the fly dashboard as well, but I like to keep it here, my changes. And here, I think it's related to this issue. I put it here on this Supabase connection string for IPv6 in Prisma. It should look something like this, with PG bouncer to true and connection limit to 1. I think it's because of this, but let's see. Database URL. Let me see if I'm using the right Postgres project. Yeah, no, it's not like this. It should. No, it's like this. This should not work. Now let's try again by updating the secret. This updates the machines. It takes a while depending on the size of your machines and the number of machines, of course. So let's look at the logs and see machine created and restarted. And started. So let's refresh, and now it's working. So you saw how to create a SaaS with SaasRock in about 2 hours or 3 hours with a full functional feature and with credits, with pricing, with email templates, with a simple CRUD, and we can test this if this works by creating a new user, subscribe. Well, I think this is because it's actually using how is it called? A fake Stripe API key. I just want to make sure. Let me log in as my admin email. And let's see. Oh, yeah, right. Two things are happening here. The first one is that in production, you shouldn't have the admin email like this. You should be using another user. So you should change this before seeding your user. I'm just going to go ahead and seed another user using the public connection string. Yeah, and go to seed service. And instead of admin email, I'm going to put my email. npx prisma db seed. And it will try to create the first user, which is me. And then all the other thing is already existing. So if I change this to my email and the default password, now I have access as an admin user. Now let me change back this to admin email. And the problem with the pricing is that the pricing plans are not created yet, even though there are this pricing on the Stripe, on my Stripe test account. There are not in the Supabase deployed database. So what I need to do is create a different set of plans for the production environment. So after this is created, now I should log out to create a new user by subscribing. prices are now created. So if I go to pricing, I can subscribe and I should receive an email. So let's verify with a fake card. And this is product number 1. So I should get this email: in production, set up your account for Indexer. And yeah, I believe that's it. We can you don't have permission to view the dashboard. Is this an error of? Yeah, I think the permissions, when I got the error of setting the permissions, it crashed on the permissions side. So I can fix this by going to my SaasRock Indexer admin side and enter my email. And go to accounts and users, see this account, and we can go to browse on permissions and go to application users, and we can see what users are from this account, and it says that this is a super user for this account. But what account are we using here? Let me see. Prod 1. You don't have permission to view this dashboard? Yeah, there's something here. I will touch this subject on the next video, which will be related to improving the feature more and managing the application as an admin, like you saw. And we can test the feature on the front page. And while this is doing it, we can see the logs. So yeah, it works. Found these URLs in one sitemap. So we should have the indexed results. And actually, whenever we click again on create as an anonymous user, we should get the error. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series. I will create another video to wrap everything up, like to summarize and to show you what you can do once you deploy your application in terms of quick wins. In like one use case that I can quickly think while this is loading is the analytics dashboard. Yeah, SaasRock created 10 pages, and these are the pages. And if we create again, now we have this error. This domain is already processed. Please create an account. But I was about to show you that you have also this analytics built in. You can see the unique visitors, page views, events. Like if I go to the landing page and click blog, that's an event. You see? And you can see more stuff like feedback, notifications, create onboarding flows, set up some feature flags. Like for example, if I create this maintenance flag and I enable it, it will destroy the, it will remove everyone from the site. And you should remove that feature flag from the database. Like this is for emergency purposes, of course, but it's actually useful for me right now because I'm going to end the video and I don't want anyone creating accounts and use the feature without a real Stripe API keys. So yeah, let's try. Maintenance. This site is currently down for maintenance. And yeah, not for the admins. I thought it was for the admins as well, but this is a good thing. So I hope you enjoyed the series and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this, more SaaS templates. This code repository will be available for core and enterprise customers of SaasRock. But the future ones, if they are more complicated, there may be for enterprise only. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and please leave a comment and a like. Bye.